Hello, my name is Thayun and I like to experiment with all kinds of AI technologies. For this video I decided to branch out a little bit and take a look at DALL-E. I know it's been out now for a while and most of you probably have tried it already, but I haven't really gotten around to testing it out myself. First off, to use DALL-E, you will either need a ChatGPT account and the Plus subscription for it that costs $20 per month. Or you can also use the Bing chat with a free Microsoft account without a subscription fee. The prompting with DALL-E works in a different way compared to Midjourney. I normally use really simple prompts with Midjourney rather than really long word salads. But I do know that there are benefits to both styles of prompting. It really depends on your own preferences. In DALL-E, if you give a single word as the prompt, ChatGPT will invent lots of extra things around it. And the grid of 4 images usually does not consist of images with the exact same prompt, even if you think you prompted the same thing. Let's look at that in action with the word dog. Here are the grids side by side from DALL-E and Midjourney. Can you guess which image I selected as my favorite? I ran the same prompt for one of the images from DALL-E inside Midjourney. I think this one is pretty obvious. I then went ahead and selected my favorite from Midjourney's grid as well to look at more closely. Both the dogs look quite realistic. And the ball in both images looks a bit out of place. The lighting has turned out similar, there's kind of a backlight illuminating the dogs from behind. Neither of them looks totally like a photograph. DALL-E has some weird cartoon-like people with short legs in the background, and Midjourney gets a little bit of a computer-generated graphic feel with the background. Let's look at some other examples. Here is a cat. We get a really wide variety of styles and looks with just one simple word. So this time I went with a different style, because I like the black cat with the moon the most out of the prompts that DALL-E came up with. Midjourney did a good job, but DALL-E has a lot more variety in the styles. But I guess that is kind of understandable in this case, and you probably could get just as much variety from Midjourney as well when you would prompt the word cat. But comparing the bigger images side by side, I think I still prefer the DALL-E version of it. There's more stars and the crescent moon was kind of lost in translation for Midjourney. This one is flower. But we get really a variety of concepts instead of just a single flower. DALL-E seems to do kind of a good photorealistic style. And it seems to have a really unique style that is kind of cartoony that you can see on the right side of the DALL-E images. For Midjourney I chose the pink flowers on a tree, but got a bunch of blooming trees with the same prompt and not a close-up like DALL. And selecting my favorite images out of the grids, I again prefer the DALL-E image. It looks kind of more delicate and dreamy compared to what Midjourney came up with the same prompt. But I guess that just shows you that some prompts work well with one, not so well with the other. Now we move on to woman. DALL again had several different styles for us, but I like the top left image the most out of these. And the same prompt with Midjourney truly shines in my opinion. This is one area where Midjourney is really good at and DALL hasn't reached that level yet. But it may just be that I am such a novice at DALL that I haven't mastered the techniques to level up the images. Comparing the larger images side by side, I think that overall look of the image is better for Midjourney. But I do like that DALL has way more ornate detail on the dress and on the hands. The henna designs look really lovely on the DALL image and kind of blurred out in the Midjourney image. But the face and lighting is way better in the Midjourney image. This one is architecture. Again, several options to choose from in the case of DALL. I chose the cathedral illustration this time. But Midjourney interpreted it differently than I would have expected. I was expecting more like a drawing like DALL generated, but I guess there was no actual reference to being a drawing in the prompt. Also, Midjourney images don't really show the stained glass part of the prompt in any of the images. And in a side-by-side look I prefer the DALL image. The Midjourney image doesn't actually look like an illustration at all, but more like a photograph. Now we look at a wizard. I don't particularly like the images that DALL generated. I guess I tend to exclude some of the images because I don't like the black borders that have appeared for this aspect ratio. It's like Midjourney version 4 all over again. But I do like the Midjourney images a lot more, even though they are quite mediocre as well. As I previously already stated, I like the Midjourney image more, although neither of them is really great looking. The DALL-E image looks like it's a still from a really cheap fantasy movie. The wrinkles on the hands and the lace on the robe is quite impressive though, but the beard is too fluffy. I have really liked some of the fantasy images for Midjourney in the past, so I had to include this theme as well. DALL-E does kind of nice images, some of them are really cartoony though. I went with the elven city carved into huge trees, but the dragon was quite good too. I do like the Midjourney images, although I guess they're just a forest with bridges and a few castles instead of houses in and around the huge trees. Both of the images look good when they're bigger. And I think I like the DALL-E image a little bit more when comparing these two images. And next up we are looking at Sci-fi. DALL-E has generated all types of images for us with this theme. The cartoony and bright style of DALL-E really shows up on most of the images here. I chose the spaceship image prompt for Midjourney and I guess it kind of lost the vibrant colors in the translation there, because the prompt really didn't mention that, or it did, but later on in the prompt. The Midjourney images do look quite epic though, and they have a totally different vibe to them. But in a side-by-side comparison I again like the DALL-E image a bit more because of the vibrant and exaggerated colors. The Midjourney image is really impressive too, although this image is more depicting a huge space station and it doesn't have the planet there that was mentioned in the prompt. Now we shall look at some images of trees. DALL-E has generated 3 images in its own style and 1 image that looks more like a photograph. And I chose the magical blue tree as my favorite. Midjourney does a really great job with this prompt, all of the images look absolutely fantastic. But the fairies are not present in any of Midjourney images. I get the feeling that DALL-E may just be better at looking at a longer prompt and taking into account some of the additional details even if they appear later on in a prompt. The bigger images side by side look both really great. Let's call this one a tie regardless of the missing fairies. I guess there's some sprites flying around in the Midjourney image. And as I am really dreaming of a beach vacation, let's look at some beaches. DALL-E has generated basically all of them in its own style. I really like the moonlit beach with the bioluminescent creatures. But Midjourney probably needs a different order of words to concentrate on adding the bioluminescent creatures to the image. I absolutely adore the DALL-E image for this one. Midjourney's image is not terrible by any means, but there's just something magical about the image that DALL-E produced with this prompt. Maybe it's the word illustration. I have to experiment with this one later on. This one is simply a city. I am not a fan of any of these images that much, although there is lots of variety. I guess my favorite is the lower right one, but the black borders kind of ruin it for me, I don't know why. So I went with the top left image prompt instead. Midjourney seems to be heading to a futuristic city direction with this prompt. I do like the images slightly better than the DALL-E images. And the larger images side by side look okay, I guess. Neither of them is bad, but I think there's so much more that Midjourney could have come up with for this image. I do like that the colors are more vibrant for the Midjourney image. The DALL-E image looks more dystopian and Midjourney image feels kind of more utopian. But I slightly prefer Midjourney on this one. Next up we have forest. Another one I have often used for Midjourney model comparisons, so it's very fitting in this case as well. The DALL-E images, I feel like we basically got all of the seasons there in one grid. I must have been lucky. And it really showcases again the kind of round and cartoony look of DALL-E's style. And I chose the winter image this time. And I feel like Midjourney has done a really great job with all of the images. Although the frozen lake is missing in most of the images for Midjourney. Comparing side by side, I feel like I like both quite equally. I like the style of DALL-E on this one, but Midjourney has obviously captured the essence of a watercolor painting for this one. From forest we head way out in space to a galaxy far, far away. We have a variety of images for DALL-E, both good and bad. I like the top left one the most out of these. And I guess I have to mention that I have no idea what the Milky Way is supposed to look like, and I doubt anyone else does either. We can probably just guess based on what we see from Earth. The Midjourney images feel like they are more realistically images of a galaxy in space. Although side by side both of the best images in my opinion look pretty much equally good. Maybe DALL-E might slightly look more like what I would imagine our own galaxy looks like. As it is currently autumn in the part of the world where I am, I thought I would add that here. And I also remember that it can produce some really pretty looking images. The DALL images don't really look what I would have thought, although we do see the autumn colors there with the red and orange leaves. But Midjourney has produced some really nice autumn photographs. They could be even better if they were not so much concentrated on the stream, I guess, but it's what was asked for in the prompt. And side-by-side comparison of larger images shows that the DALL image doesn't even really look like a photograph. It looks kind of weird. Midjourney's looks way better in the comparison of these images and more like a photograph. Although Midjourney still has some ways to go, I guess, with generating foliage on trees. Next topic is also fast approaching or already over, depending on when you are watching this video. But it is Halloween season. DALL has some nice images here in different styles. I liked the illustrations, but I went with the cemetery picture. Midjourney's images are stylistically very different. But I guess there wasn't any mention of Halloween in the prompt, so I guess the Midjourney images look way more sinister. Neither of the images actually looks like a photo. More like stills from a cartoon or a video game. I do like the mist in the DALL image. But again, pretty close. I don't prefer either of them over the other one significantly more. So for the last 5 examples I wanted to try out some more complex prompts to begin with and move on from there. This one was one of my own top prompts from the times of Midjourney v4. DALL has given it a really funky spin, and I guess it's even more psychedelic and crazy looking than I would have expected. And the Midjourney images with the prompt I chose were absolutely amazing. I really like this kind of style and the vibrant colors and kind of a logical look. It was really hard to select my favorite out of them. So I went with these. The color schemes look really different and I really do like DALL's version as well. But I guess I just like the style that Midjourney comes up with slightly more. Next one is another forest image with one of my top prompts from the time of version 3 that came out really epic. And DALL really does some interesting things there with the trees. Midjourney not so much. Midjourney's images this time feel like they're just another forest image with a few additional bubbles. Out of these two I like DALL's version more. Midjourney's is a bit too boring. But secretly I still like the image that this prompt originally made for me the most. And yet another psytrance prompt that I really liked was this one. DALL does some epic stuff with it as well, I think. Although Midjourney's images are not bad either. They look gorgeous, but the craziness of the psytrance is kind of getting lost for version 5, because the phrase photography won't allow as much craziness and otherworldliness except for the sails and the boat itself. DALL wins this comparison. It truly has the mesmerizing atmosphere. But I guess Midjourney would have come up with a similar thing if it weren't for the word photography in there. This prompt was the described version of an image from one of Midjourney's top feed images. I do like that DALL came up with, but I don't like the fact that in spite of the aspect ratio being 9:16, the images look pretty square to me overall. So Midjourney's version of the prompt from ChatGPT and DALL looks way better, because it fills out the area. But I like the sharpness and the colors of the DALL images slightly more. As most of the images looked very alike in this case, I am calling this one a tie. I like DALL's style a bit more for this one, but again not the fact that it's not filling out the area of the image like Midjourney. But Midjourney has gotten the assignment more here, as in it was supposed to be watercolor. And Midjourney's image is watercolor, but DALL is more vector, I guess. And the last one is also a describe prompt of one of Midjourney's top feed images. Just because I wanted to see some longer images and none of my own prompts are that long. And I wanted to try out something different. This is plenty different. And yet again it's a pity that DALL-E's images are not filling out the entire area. The jellyfish creatures look awesome. Midjourney's are good too, but overall DALL-E wins this one, I think. And in the bigger image comparison, DALL-E is better. It doesn't fill out the entire area, but the jellyfish person is really something else. Midjourney's is good, but it's just a person with a jellyfish on top of their head. Alright, so those were the experiments I wanted to try out. I do really like the potential to discover some new stuff to try out with Midjourney as well. And actually some of the DALL-E images looked really great compared to their Midjourney counterparts. I may be really biased towards Midjourney, because it has been my favorite for over a year now. From my experimentation, I noticed several things that I did not particularly like about DALL-E 3. For example, the image generation feels slower compared to Midjourney. I guess it's comparable to Midjourney's relaxed mode. But it may just be that lots of people are using DALL-E 3 or ChatGPT at the same time. I didn't do my tests on the Bing chat, so I have no comparison for that. Another thing I ran into was a rate limit after generating under 50 sets of images during the span of several hours. I didn't feel like I was doing anything that crazy, so the limit came as a bit of a surprise to me. So based on that, I do think that Midjourney's service is currently way better in that regard if you are a paying customer. DALL-E 3 also doesn't seem to like the 9:16 aspect ratio, and it has a lot of thick borders. Almost all of the image grids I got had at least one of them or more. Midjourney had that issue too with version 4, but it has improved much since then. Let me know in the comments below what you think of DALL-E 3. Have you gone over and never returning back to Midjourney? Or are you like me that likes both and the potential of combining the exploration of new stuff? Anyway, if you like this kind of content, please consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel for more stuff like this. I mostly do concentrate on Midjourney, but I occasionally venture out to other things as well. Thank you for watching, and let's continue prompting.